Um, okay. So today we are going to discuss the states of matter chapter. We will finish it. We will try to finish it very fast. Okay. And then the next lecture we will try to do the previous year questions mostly, some of the questions, so that your all the aspects of the various questions are properly covered by the time you are done with all the problems. Okay. So let's start with the very basics and we'll move on very fast. You can stop and ask if you have any doubt. Okay. And carefully listen. Okay. So what is states? I'll start. What is states of matter? Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. Okay. It is made up of atoms and molecules. Okay. Arrangement of these molecules determines the state of matter, whether it is solid, liquid, or gas. Okay. So when matter, this matter can change states when the temperature or pressure is changed. Okay. When the surrounding temperature or pressure of the matter is changed, the states of matter can change. How does it change? Solid to liquid, or liquid to solid, liquid to gas, or gas to solid, some things like that. Okay. Now, these state changes of matter, states like solid to liquid or liquid to gas, these are physical changes, not chemical. Okay. These are called physical changes. Okay. Now, let's see what are the differences between gas, liquid, and solid. Okay. Gas, it assumes the shape and volume of the container. Liquid also assumes the shape, while solid retains a fixed volume and shape. Okay. Gas particles can move past one another easily. Liquid particles can also move past one another, while solid particles, rigid particles, are locked into at every place. Okay. Now see, compressible, lots of free space between particles in gas molecules. Liquid are not easily compressible. There is very little space between particles, whereas in solid, they are not easily compressible, but have very little free space between particles. Okay. See, uh, gas flows easily, particles can move past one another, liquids can flow easily, they can move slide past one another, but solid does not flow easily. It is a rigid molecule. Okay. There are particles, they cannot move slide one past another. It can easily be observed that then gas have low density, liquid have intermediate density, and solid have high density. The most important aspect, it will come again and again, is gases have very small intermolecular attraction but high kinetic energy. Liquid have considerable intermolecular attraction and kinetic energy little bit less, while solid have intermolecular forces are very high. They have mostly vibration motion only. Okay, no translational rotational motion exists per se in their condition. Okay, see, now let's start with the gaseous state, then we will move on to the liquid state, and in later chapters we will study about the solid state as well. Okay, what is gaseous state? The volume of the gas is the volume of the container. These are the important properties. Temperature of gas is the measure of kinetic energy. What is the kinetic energy? Pressure of gas is defined as the force exerted by the gas on the walls of its container. Okay, this is container. It has various gases. It is moving everywhere. When these forces, these gases go towards the walls, these gases move towards the wall. They create the pressure. ये वॉल्स पर जितना प्रेशर क्रिएट हो रहा है, ये जो गैस पार्टिकल्स के मूव करने से ये ही प्रेशर है जो एक्चुअली में कंटेनर में प्रेशर क्रिएट कर रहा है. ओके, नाउ इट इज assume that pressure is isotropic, that is it is same in all the direction, all three directions, x y z axis, in all three direction it is same. Okay, where now see how can we measure pressure. Atmospheric pressure can be measured by barometer. Okay, while the pressure of any gas can be measured using manometer. How do we measure it? See, at the same we take a horizontal tube, because this is called open arm manometer. We take a horizontal tube, one end is closed and other end is open. Okay, see, at the same level of height the overall pressure will remain same. So whatever pressure is here at this height, that is pressure of this gas present in this part, it will it will be equal to the pressure created by the atmosphere as well as the liquid up to this height. Okay, so the overall pressure will be pressure created by this atmosphere and pressure created by this liquid. Now, what is the pressure created by this liquid? You see, pressure, what is pressure? Force by area. So what is force here? Mass of that liquid, okay, multiplied by gravity, gravitational constant, divided by area. Okay, now can I write this uh, mass as density multiplied by volume? Okay, and multiplied by gravitational constants divided by area. When this volume is divided by area, we will get this, the height. Okay, it will come into density into multiplied by height multiplied by gravitational constant. This area here we used was the this cross-sectional area of the tube, and overall height will create the overall volume. Okay, so the pressure of liquid will be HDG, which we have used here. The pressure of gas will be atmospheric pressure plus HDG. Now see, what are the various units of the pressure? See, Newton per meter square is Pascal is the SI unit. Okay, 1 atmosphere is 760 mm, 76 centimeter mercury. Okay, remember these equations. Okay, 1.01325 bar, 1 atm. 1 liter atmosphere is 101.325 joule. Okay, this will come handy in problem solving. Okay, so keep remember 1 liter equal to 1 decimeter cube raised to 10 minus 3 meter cube and 1000 centimeter cube. Okay, see, now let's see this one problem. Okay, calculate the mass of mercury in a uniform column 760 millimeter high and 1 centimeter square in a cross sectional area. This is a column, 1 centimeter square area है and 760 mm height है. Okay, is there any change in mass? Will there be any change in mass? See, when we are increasing the uh, area of the cross section of the column up to 2 centimeter square, see what will happen here is density. What is density? Mass. Why? Volume. Density it is given. Okay, so then mass equal to density into volume. Density is fixed, volume is cross sectional area multiplied by height. Height is remaining same, but area is doubled now. So mass will be the twice of the original mass. Okay, now see what is pressure. Okay, see, pressure is force equal to mg by area. When area is doubled, mass is also getting doubled. So overall pressure, force upon area, pressure equal to, is remaining same. Okay, now see, let's see various gas laws. Okay, what are the various gas laws? We will study about Boyle's law. What does it say? pressure is inversely proportional to the volume. This relation comes down to the PV equal to K constant when you use this aspect. Now see, it can be represented in various graphical representations. Okay, keep in mind, this moles and temperature here are constant. Okay, in Boyle's law. This is for the ideal gas. We will study about the ideal gas little bit later. Okay, now if you have understood this, now see, in graphical representation we can see V versus 1 by P ratio. This is passing through the origin. Keep in mind, V can be written as K into 1 by P, and here intercept is 0, so it will pass through the origin. But when we draw a P versus V diagram, the diagram will become in the shape of hyperbola. Okay, please notice that here your temperature T2, when it is greater than T1, the shape of the parabola will remain same, but it will be above the graph with the low temperature. Okay, अब ये देखिए कि ये जो ग्राफ है, जो T2 टेम्परेचर है, जो हायर साइड पर है, इसका ग्राफ ऊपर की साइड है. ओके, सो हायर प्रेशर here at higher pressure, at the same pressure, T2 टेम्परेचर पे वॉल्यूम ज्यादा आ रहा है. Okay, see, now similar diagrams can be seen of log P versus P, log P versus log 1 by V. How can it be drawn? है ना? Take the log of these equations and correspondingly situate the x-axis and y-axis. You can draw these diagrams. Okay. Now let's move to the Charles law. What does it say? Volume is proportional to the temperature at constant pressure. Okay. So the relationship comes down to the V1 by T1 equal to V2 by T2. See, when we see this part in graphical representation, it can be noticed here that this T we are using is the absolute temperature. What do we mean by absolute temperature? Temperature in Kelvin. Okay. See, when we are using temperature in Kelvin, this straight line will pass through origin at 0 Kelvin. Okay, but when we are using temperature in degrees Celsius, this graph will not pass through origin. It will be behind on minus x-axis. Okay. Now see, these graphs are called isobars. Okay, because pressure is constant. Similarly, when we saw about the Boyle's law, these graphs are called isotherms. Okay, because temperature was constant here. Okay, now let's move to the third law, Gay-Lussac's law. What does it say? Pressure is directly proportional to T. It comes down to P equal to KT or P1 by T1 equal to P2 by T2. The graphical representation similarly as in Charles' law, just you have to replace P with V. Here again, T is absolute temperature, so it will not pass. If T is in degrees Celsius, it will not pass through the origin. What are these plots called? Isotope. Okay, remember this. Okay, now let's come to the Avogadro's law. What does Avogadro law say? Equal volumes of any two gases at the same temperature and pressure contain the same number of molecules. Okay, so what will happen? Volume is proportional to the moles. Okay, so V1 by N1 equal to V2 by N2. Okay, so this relation is very much important here. It will come in use when we derive the ideal gas equation. Okay, before we derive the ideal gas equation, keep in mind there is one thing called combined gas law. When Boyle's law, Charles law, and Gay-Lussac's law are combined, it will be like P1 V1 by T1 equal to P2 V2 by T2. This may come in some problem where two things are varying, so you can use the temperature as well when moles are fixed. Okay. Now see, in ideal gas equation, okay, in ideal gas equation, when we combine all these force law, we get this ideal gas equation V equal to nRT, where R is the ideal gas constant, whose value we will see in the next slide. Before that, remember this ideal gas equation is also called equation of state. Why? Because it describes the state of any gas, where what is its pressure, what is its volume, what is its temperature, what are its moles. Okay, so that is why it is called equation of state. Okay, the values of RC, these can be derived at different temperature and atmosphere pressure. Okay, at 1 atmospheric pressure, 22.4 liter temperature, 273 Kelvin. That means standard temperature and pressure. Value is 0.821 liter atmosphere per mole per Kelvin. Remember. Okay, in CGS system, the value is 8.314 multiplied by 10 raised to 7 erg per mole per Kelvin. In MK system, 8.314 joule per mole per Kelvin. Okay. Now, in calories, it comes down to 1.987, which can be equated to 2 calorie per mole per Kelvin. Okay, I think you may have got it. Okay, see, here we will have to we will move on to the next slide currently. Okay, we will solve these problems in the next lecture. Okay, let's finish the theory first. Okay, Dalton's law of pressure, partial pressure. What is Dalton's law of partial pressure? Okay. The total pressure of any system will be the sum of the partial pressure of the various compound particles, partial pressures. Okay, it is applicable only to non-reacting gases. Okay, now it can be written as like this. Why? HP1 can be equated to N1 RT by V, when these three things are constant. R is already a constant, temperature and V are fixed, then it can be written as P N1 RT by V. RT by V is combined, take RT by V is taken common outside the summation, and it will equal to RT by V summation of all the moles. Okay. Now, see Amagat's law of partial volume. According to this law, at constant temperature and pressure, the total volume of mixture of gases which don't react is equal to the sum of partial volumes of each component present in mixture. Okay. Again, similar law, that is for partial volume. Constant temperature and pressure per total volume of mixture of gases is जो पार्शियल वॉल्यूम है ईच का उसके समेशन के बराबर होगा. ओके, similarly one more problem, very easy problem, you can do it easily, try it. Okay, I'll move on to the theory part first. Okay, Graham's law of diffusion and effusion. What is diffusion? The process of mixing of gases by random motion of the molecule is called diffusion. Okay, while effusion is when gas is confined in a container with very high pressure. That surrounding atmosphere will have higher pressure, that will have lower pressure. It will escape from a small hole which is open in the container until the pressure outside and inside have been equalized. Okay, this process is called effusion. Okay, in a container, when I make a small hole, the gas will effuse out from this container until both the pressure of surrounding and this container is same. Okay. Now, what does this law say? Under the same conditions of temperature and pressure, the rates of diffusion of different gases are inversely proportional to the square roots of their molecular masses or their densities. So it can be written as R is inversely proportional to root 2n, inversely proportional to root d. It can be written as like this. Okay, these are R1, R2 are the rates of diffusion for gas 1 and gas 2, their molecular masses, their densities. Okay, so what is the limitation of this law? The limitation is this is only applicable when this pressure difference is very small. Okay, now rate of diffusion per se are not always constant throughout the interval. They keep on changing. Okay, so when we apply this law, it is for very small interval of time. Okay, keep in mind this is for small time interval only. Okay. Another problem. Okay, we will solve these problems, such kind of problems, during practice session in next lecture. Okay, let's, you can try it solving this yourself first. Okay, now see connecting containers problems. Okay, such kind of problems keep on coming in JEE. Okay, so especially an advanced paper. So keep in mind few aspects about the containers problem. This is when we are connecting two or more containers, then the movement of any component of gas occurs in other container till the final pressure of that component in all the container becomes equal. Okay, if there are multiple one or two container, okay, there is stop cork. When this is removed, the gas from one part of the container will move to the another part until the pressure in both container is equal. Okay, अब कितना मूव किया है, कितना नहीं मूव किया है, ये आइडिया लेना है तो हमें लॉ ऑफ डिफ्यूजन लगाना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो ठीक है, ट्राई सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन. I'll solve this all of these things in next lecture because we have to finish the theory first. Okay, similarly balloon problems can be solved easily. Okay, payload of balloon is क्या होता है, defined as maximum weight which a balloon can carry with its upward direction. Okay, when balloon is moving upwards, how much weight can be put inside that balloon so that it still goes upward. Okay, so what we have to do is, this is called payload. Okay, we have to equate it to the buoyancy force. Okay, to this payload balloon. So see, volume of, how do we calculate this payload? The R density of buoyancy force we have to calculate first, the density of the outside, the volume, the G. Okay, volume of balloon, because the buoyancy force is calculated by the how much volume this balloon is displacing. Okay, so we have to use the same volume here. Okay, multiplied by the gravitational constant. Now, when we subtract by effective weight of balloon for buoyancy forces, we will get the payload. Okay, what is effective weight of volume here? The mass of the balloon mg, okay, and the density of the gas filled inside that balloon and the volume. So both of these things will make the total weight, effective weight. Okay, I think got it. Try to solve this problem. Okay, now I'll move on to the next part. See, kinetic theory of gases. Let's do this. Okay. The theoretical model for all the experimental gas laws जो होता है, this can be analyzed with the help of kinetic theory of gases. We have to keep in mind few aspects before we move on to the other aspects of this theory of ideal gases and even in real gases. Okay, so what are the various assumptions which have been made here? All the gases consist of very small molecules or atoms, okay, whose volume is negligible compared to the volume of container. ठीक है, इस कंटेनर में जो गैस है इसके रिस्पेक्ट में, इसके वॉल्यूम के रिस्पेक्ट में इन गैसेस का वॉल्यूम बहुत ही स्मॉल है, बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. ठीक है, while we see there is no interaction between gaseous particles. ठीक है, no interaction, keep in mind here. ठीक है, it may increase or decrease depending upon whether what are the temperature and pressure condition, but it is assumed initially that there are no interaction. Okay, the gaseous molecules are under continuous state of motion. ठीक है, which is unaffected by gravity. If it's moving one way or upwards, low, sidewards, anywhere around the container, then the gravitational aspect we will ignore here. Okay. Now, what happens during the continuous motion? There are collisions between the gaseous molecules with the wall of container. Okay. The collision with the wall of container are responsible for pressure exerted by the gas on the wall of container. The wall of container पर जितना वॉल्यूम जो मूव कर रहे हैं, यही गैस के मूवमेंट की जो कोलाइड का मूवमेंट की वजह से जो वॉल से कोलिजन हो रहा है गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स का, इसी की वजह से ये प्रेशर जनरेट हो रहा है इस कंटेनर में. ओके, सिमिलरली अब ये जो मॉलिक्यूल्स जो मूव कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो एक ही सिमिलर स्पीड से मूव कर रहे हैं, दे आर मूविंग विद द डिफरेंट स्पीड. ठीक है, speed, or because they are colliding with one another with the wall, the speed of each molecule keep on changing. Okay, now see, all the collisions that are occurring here are said to be perfectly elastic. What do we mean by perfectly elastic? If it is they are retaining their velocity. ठीक है, they are retaining their velocity, they are retaining their energy. There is no loss of energy when they collide with one another or with the wall. Okay, the last aspect is this kinetic energy of gas will depend upon the absolute temperature only. We will understand 3/2 RT, average kinetic energy. Let's come to this aspect, kinetic energy gas equation. Okay, kinetic gas equation क्या बोलता है? When we have a gas filled with a cube filled with gas here, okay, inside this cube the gas particles are moving in various directions. We will calculate their energy. Okay, so when we calculate their pressure created by the gas molecules inside this tube, it comes down to due to the collisions of the various molecules present in this tube. Okay, that pressure will be equivalent to 1/3 m multiplied by Avogadro number multiplied by U square. Okay. Okay, this is unit cube. Okay, so the volume is here is assumed unity, but overall equation comes down to the PV equal to 1/3 m not U square. Okay, Now see, when we combine mass with Avogadro number, we will get the molecular mass, the molar mass. This equation will become PV equal to 1 by 3 mu square. Okay, this will come useful in next aspects later on. Okay, it may have there are some problems which have come using this concept. Okay, see, please note here that this u here is root mean square velocity. Okay, what is root mean square velocity? That will come in, I think, in the next slide after this aspects. Okay, so before we see here the movement of the gas particles, the speed aspect, let's see what are the different type of kinetic energy which we are seeing here. Okay, when the particle is moving inside this cube, see, the translational kinetic energy of the n moles here will be 1 by 2 mu square, which is equal to 3 by 2 PV, which is equal to 3 by 2 nRT. Okay, so average translational kinetic energy per molecule. This is for n moles. Now when we calculate it for per molecule, we have to assume n equal to 1, and we have to divide it by n naught Avogadro number, because 1 mole have and not number 6.023 10 raised to 23 molecules. This will become 3 by 2 RT by N naught. R by N naught is assumed another constant because both are R and N naught are fixed. Boltzmann found this constant, and it is called Boltzmann constant. Okay, 3 by 2 kT. See, its value is 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 16 R per Kelvin per molecule. Okay. If temperature is assumed 0 Kelvin, then our average kinetic energy will become 0. Okay, why? Because 3 by 2 kT, average kinetic energy equal to 3 by 2 kT, K is already fixed. When temperature is absolute 0, then average kinetic energy will be 0. Then can be said that at absolute 0 temperature, molecular motion ceases. That means there is no motion of the molecules inside that cube, inside any container at 0 Kelvin. It will come handy in third law of thermodynamics. Okay, so I think this is done. Let's see what are the different types of molecular velocities. Okay, we will not go into the various derivation aspects currently, because I think these things are not very much important nowadays, but we will remember all the various aspects which we are going to see here. Okay, see, from kinetic gas equation, we found PV equal to 1 by 3 mu square. So what do we mean by RMS, root mean square velocity? So it is the defined as the square root of the mean of the squares of the velocities purchased by all the molecules present in the given sample of gas. हमने इस सैंपल each molecule की velocity measure की, उसका स्क्वायर किया, उनका मीन निकाला, उसको ओवरऑल नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल से डिवाइड किया और उसका रूट निकाला. दैट इज कॉल्ड रूट मीन स्क्वायर वेलोसिटी. ओके, सिमिलरली this will equal to URMS will equal to under root 3 PV by M. See, it can be seen from here. Okay, URMS equal to 3 PV by M. Okay, similarly it will PV can be written as RT by PV equal to RT for 1 mole of the gas. So it will be 3 RT by M. It can be written as 3 P by D as well. Okay. Now see where D is the density. Okay, keep in mind D is the density here. Now see average velocity. What is average velocity? It is given by the arithmetic mean of the square of the different velocities possessed by the molecules of the gases at a particular temperature. U average equal to U1 square plus U2 square divided by moles T mol. ठीक है? Now, so what is average velocity? It is the arithmetic mean of the square of the different velocities possessed by the molecules of gases. Okay. Similarly, average velocity comes to the root E RT by pi m. Now, what is most probable velocity? It is defined as the velocity possessed by the maximum number of molecules of a gas at a given temperature. अब इतने सारे मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं, सारे मॉलिक्यूल्स डिफरेंट स्पीड के साथ मूव कर रहे हैं, तो ऐसी वेलोसिटी हम फाइंड करते हैं जो सबसे ज्यादा मॉलिक्यूल्स के पास है, दैट equalizes to root 2 RT by m. Okay, when we see the relation between these velocities, we can see the ratio here. It will come to the 3 root 3 root is to root 8 by pi is to root 2. See, this ratio, you can remember it, but notice first that URMS is greater than U average, greater than most probable velocity. Okay, I think you may have got it. Now see the next aspect. This you can do easily. Very easy question here. Root mean square velocity of the gas. Okay. Okay. What is root mean square? Root 3 RT by m. Okay. And the 1 liter capacity contains how many molecules of nitrogen containing pressure? Okay. So you can calculate the T by m ratio here. Okay. Calculate this ratio from this volume 1 liter. Okay. Number of molecules 2.0 10 raised to 21. You can find the moles here. You can divide it by n naught. Okay. You can find pressure. You have the pressure of 7.57 into 10 raised to Q. You can find the temperature here. Molecular mass of nitrogen is 28. Okay. Now you can put it here. You can get the root mean R square velocity. See, now as we have understood the root mean square average and most probable velocity, let's see what is the distribution of molecular speeds inside any container. Okay. So before we see that, we will see some aspects of it. Okay, we will not go into the derivation of this distribution, but we will try to understand what does it represent. Okay, it's not in purview of 12th syllabus, not even in JEE. They do not ask specifically for it, but they may use it in some question. Okay, they may ask the aspects in some questions. What do we mean by this Maxwell distribution curve? Okay, see here the speed of a molecule, it continuously changes as a result of collisions with other molecules and with the walls of the container. So we cannot know the speed of the individual molecule, but we can have the average of the speed of the whole molecule. Okay, now similarly molecules of a gas जो होते हैं, they are distributed over the पॉसिबल स्पीड रेंजेस, मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि एक ही स्पीड सबके पास अलग अलग स्पीड है, ठीक है। तो इसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी की किस पार्टिकल के पास कौन सी वेलोसिटी हो सकती है, कौन सी वेलोसिटी किन किन पार्टिकल के पास हो सकती है, हाउ मेनी नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल्स है दिस वेलोसिटी, इसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी मैक्सवेल ने डिराइव की थी। और उसका रिजल्ट ये आया था, ये इक्वेशन dn इक्वल टू 4 पाई n m by 2 pi kt raised to 3 by 2 e raised to minus mu square 2 pi m k 2 pi kt to u square du. Okay, see this expression, what does it represent? It gives the number of molecules dn having speeds between u and u plus du in terms of total number of molecules. Okay, we have fixed one speed, we have taken u speed. We are saying ki u plus du speed, small difference in speed, and how many particles are moving with this range of speed. Okay, so this equation will give us that range. Okay, sorry, that number of molecules which have the range of this speed. Okay, total number of molecules are and the mole mass is m here, T is the absolute temperature here. ठीक है, अब देखते हैं next aspect of this Maxwell distribution curve. See, it is generally not plotted like dn versus directly, it is plotted like 1y and dnu by du versus u. Okay, how do we find it? The 1y and dn by du, it can be found by differentiating this aspect. Okay, so we can get 1 equal to 1y du dn by du. Okay, so this represents the fraction of the molecules in the speed range of u to u plus du. Okay, earlier we got the number of molecules, here we are getting fraction. Okay, so if we are getting fraction, if you can found probabilities between 0 to 1, so similarly roughly it can be equated that this is the probability of finding a molecule with a speed between u plus du. Okay, see, observe carefully here, this is T1 temperature, the graph is at T1 temperature, this graph is at T2 temperature. When we are increasing T2, okay, the highest number of molecules here is this one for this graph. So this will be your most probable velocity. Okay, here will be average velocity and root mean square velocity will be here. So keep in mind, first most probable, then average, then root mean square velocity. Similarly, when we are increasing temperature, so you can see the velocity is increasing, all the aspects, because everything is proportional to T, root 3 RT, 2 RT by M, and okay. All these things are increasing with temperatures. All these will shift to the rightwards at the higher speed side. Okay, with temperature, their speed will increase. So similarly, the range which they used to contain the same temperature, the earlier graph had only this amount of particle. The next graph had have more number of particles with more higher speeds. Okay, this you should understand carefully. Okay, now see one of the few things I have noted down here so you can easily understand here. A fraction of molecules having either very low speeds or very high speeds are small in numbers. See, the fraction here and here is very small. This is fraction. Fraction is increasing on y-axis. This is at low speed. Low speed is close to the origin. This is low. At higher speed, again, x-axis is high, but at y-axis it comes down again. So fraction is again low for both high speed and very low speed. Similarly, the area under the curve is the total number of molecules in the collection. Okay, total number of molecules in that aspect, in that area, U to U1, U1 to U2, how many number of molecules do we have? So we can again note it that in first graph, T1 graph, at T1 temperature, the number of molecules are low, but while in T2, the number of molecules are high. Okay, that can be calculated through area under the curve. Okay. Similarly, see, why the area under the curve is any two speeds. For example, it gives the total number of molecules having spin between these two values. Similarly, fraction of molecules having lower speed range decreases, whereas fraction of molecules having higher speed range increases on increasing the temperature. I have already told you with increase in temperature, the more and more particles are having the higher velocity. Okay, they are shifting towards the higher velocity. Okay. Now, similarly, Maxwell has given a curve for energy as well. See here, energy equal to half mu square. It can be written as U equal to root 2E by m by transforming this equation. Okay, when I differentiate E, I'll get this aspect. It can be written as d equal to mu du. This u du then equal to dE by m. This will be useful in next slide. See, this is the equation for Maxwell equation for number of molecules. When we change it into the Maxwell equation for energy, see here, this one. This can be differentiated. Okay. And u to u can be changed into root 2e dE by m. Okay. And other terms are also similarly changed. Of all the u wale terms, u, dE, u to u is changed to dm, u is changed to root dE by m. We will get the equation in terms of the energy. Okay. When this equation is written in again the fractional aspect, how many fraction of the molecule are having this much of energy. Energy is replaced with, sorry, speed is replaced here with energy. This Maxwell equation is this Maxwell distribution curve for energy. It is almost similar to the earlier curve. Okay. Now, okay, you can keep in mind if it is given, you can derive this formula by differentiating and dividing by 1 by n. Okay. See, what do we mean by this shaded area? Again, the shaded area is fraction of particle having energy between E1 and E2. Similarly, as we saw in the earlier velocity aspect, U1 and U2, here we are using energy terms. So it is the area under the curve will be equal to the number of fraction of particle. This is the fraction aspect, not the number. Fraction of the particles having the energy between E1 and E2. Okay, I think ये पता चल गया होगा तो हम इसी तरीके से कई बार केमिकल काइनेटिक्स में अदर इक्वेशंस में we get to know about how many particles are having the activation energy. The activation energy, okay, for that chemical reaction to happen. So some of the particle may have the activation energy, some of the particle may not have the activation energy. Okay, so we can find how many number of particles are having the energy greater than that part. Okay, So that is why this equation becomes very much important. Okay, so we can find the how many particles will participate in chemical reaction. Now let's come to the collision theory. Okay, it is very also an important topic. One or two questions have come from here earlier. Okay, see, in collision theory, the collision diameter. What is the collision diameter? What do we mean when we are understanding collision theory? Molecules are present in the container. Okay, they are moving one past another. Okay, so they will collide with each other. Okay, they will collide with each other continuously. If they will collide with each other, they may occupy the space here of each other. They cannot one particle cannot move past another particle easily. They may not have the free volume as it was supposed to have. Okay, see, first understand, let's what are these different terms if two molecules are colliding. Okay, so when the summation of Ra plus Rb is called collision diameter. Okay, if the distance between, how will we find the two molecules are colliding? We do not know exactly because these molecules are so small, we cannot exactly know how many are colliding with each other. So what we will do is, we have the location of each molecule. Okay, we have the center of these molecules. Now, when we calculate how many molecules are at the position where the distance between the center of two molecules is sigma, then that means they are colliding. That's why this has become very much important in understanding such concepts. You know, it is very much helpful in future during graduation and all. Okay. Uh, See, so you have understood this aspect. Now see collision frequency. So uh, now we have established that molecules are colliding. Now we have to know how many number of molecular collisions are taking place per second per unit volume of the gas. Okay, I mean in 1 second how many collisions are there in unit volume. Okay, so number of collisions made by a single molecule with other molecules per unit volume is called collision number. ठीक है, पहली चीज, what is collision frequency? Number of molecular collision taking place per second per unit. Whereas number of collisions made by single molecule, एक molecule कितने molecule से collide कर रहा है per unit time, that is called collision number. This is given by Z1. This value is this. How is it calculated? I will explain it briefly here only. That let's assume this is the particle which is moving into that container. It is colliding. Let's assume it is colliding with these two particles. Okay. Now, if it's moving in this direction, okay, it will be occupying this much of the area here, the whole aspect. So, how much is the cross-sectional area here? Pi sigma square. Ra plus Rb. Okay, this is the sigma, pi sigma square. How many molecules will be there? N stars से multiply कर दिया. Okay, अब now we have to find the volume overall. So we will multiply cross-sectional area with the distance covered by that molecule in a unit time. So we again multiply it by U bar. Okay, speed per unit time. But how can we assume it is moving in one direction, that direction only? So we take the average out, the vector form of the speed. If it's moving in this direction, in this direction, so we will average out this, assume this, it is moving through root 2 u bar speed. So this is the number of collisions. Okay, ये बात आई थिंक समझ में आई होगी. पाई सिग्मा स्क्वायर एरिया में ही कोलिजन हो रहे होंगे, इसके बाहर तो कोलिजन हो नहीं रहे होंगे। तो उस वॉल्यूम में, उस सेकेंड में इतनी डिस्टेंस कवर की, उस यूनिट वॉल्यूम में हमने देखा कि इतनी डिस्टेंस कवर की तो कितने जब टाइम तक वो कितने कोलिजन हो रहे थे आपस में। ठीक है, तो ये मिल गया हमें कोलिजन नंबर। अब सिमिलरली हम बायोमोलिकुलर कोलिजन्स निकाल लेंगे पर यूनिट टाइम, व्हिच इज Z11. This is called collision frequency. Bimolecular collisions. Bimolecular collisions. If all the particles are of the same type, then it's called bimolecular collisions, and it is termed Z11 frequency. See one thing, when two molecules are colliding, we are counting the collision of this molecule as well and this molecule also. Okay, so we have to divide the total number of collisions by half because we are counting the number of collisions twice. Okay, so there are this is Z1 was the collision number of one particle. We multiplied it by the n star Avogadro number. So we got the total number of collisions, but we are counting it twice, so we divide it by 2. So we get Z11 equal to 1 by root 2 pi sigma square u square n star square. You have noticed we have multiplied here by n by 2 only from Z1 to Z11. Okay, keep in mind. Similarly, if the collisions are between two unlike molecules, it is represented as Z12. Okay. Now, and sigma is distance between 1 2 square. Okay, and they are multiplied by n1 and 2. Okay. Now, see here. Sigma 1 2 is the average diameter of the two molecules, sigma 1 plus sigma 2 by 2, and u naught is the average velocity. How is it calculated? u1 into square under the power 1 by 7, 1 by 2. Okay, this is average velocity between two particles. Okay, if you remember it, we calculated average velocity by taking the square of those velocity and divided by n. Similarly here. Okay. Now see, three path, mean free path. What is mean free path? When two molecules are colliding with each other, now they have collided, they will bounce back, they will move to the another direction. Before they collide with another molecule, they are traveling alone. That is called the free path. Mean free path we will calculate by averaging out all the free paths. Okay, all the distance travel between two collisions. So average distance traveled per unit time divided by number of collisions made by single molecule per unit time. So we will get the lambda. Lambda is mean free path. Okay, I think you may have understood it. Mean free path. Again, keep in mind the average distance traveled by molecule between two successive collisions. ठीक है, हमने टोटल एवरेज डिस्टेंस टोटल निकाल ली, कितनी ट्रेवल कर ली। ठीक है, बस उसका देख लिया कि भाई एक डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल की, दूसरी डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल की, तीसरी, चौथी, पांचवी, छठवीं। ठीक है, तो सारी डिस्टेंस के ट्रेवल को हमने काउंट कर लिया, उसका एवरेज निकाल लिया। अब हमने देख लिया कि नंबर ऑफ कोलिजन्स कितने हो रहे थे। ठीक है ना, उतनी ही तो डिस्टेंस होगी, तो बस मीन फ्री पाथ उस नंबर ऑफ कोलिजन से हमने काउंट कर लिया कि एक एवरेज आउट कर लिया कि कितना, अगर एवरेज आउट करें तो दो मॉलिक्यूल कोलाइड करने से पहले कितना फ्री पाथ पर चलेंगे। ओके, ठीक है, बस keep in mind this formula. Now let's see the deviation of the real gases, the ideal gases. रियल गैस में अंतर होता क्या है, ठीक है। See, an ideal gas is a hypothetical gas whose pressure, volume and temperature behavior is completely described by the ideal gas equation. ठीक है, बट इन रियलिटी कोई भी गैस आइडियल नहीं होती है, दे आर नॉट परफेक्ट, ठीक है। ऑल गैसेस आर मोस्ट एक्चुअली रियल गैसेस, ठीक है। इफ रियल गैसेस डू नॉट ओबे आइडियल गैस लॉ, ठीक है, अंडर द टेम्परेचर एंड डिफरेंट टेम्परेचर प्रेशर, तो हमें आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि डेविएशन जो हो रहा है आइडियल बिहेवियर से वो कैसा हो रहा है और क्यों हो रहा है, व्हाई इज इट हैपनिंग, ओके। See, there are two assumptions which we made earlier in kinetic theory of gases, which are not actually true to the sense, because it was found out that the volume of the gas particle is negligible compared to the volume of the container in kinetic theory of gases. But in actual reality, that volume of each gas particle is not as low as it was assumed. They have substantial volume with respect to the container, okay. Now if volume is not correct, similarly interaction which was assumed that there was no interaction particles, it was also not true, because there are attraction forces which exist between real gas particles, okay? Now what we will do is we will identify how is this deviation from ideal behavior is occurring. So it is measured by compressibility factor generally, okay. So what we do is we calculate a volume of a particle, real volume, okay, molar volume, and we take that ideal volume, molar volume of an ideal gas which was supposed to be 22.4 liter at HTP, and divide by it. So we get the compressibility factor, okay. हमने रियल गैस का वॉल्यूम मेजर कर लिया और हमने आइडियल गैस का वॉल्यूम से उसे डिवाइड कर दिया। अब if this Z is greater than 1, that means जो actual real gas है उसका मोलर वॉल्यूम 22.4 लीटर से ज्यादा है। If this Z is less than 1, that means मोलर वॉल्यूम 22.4 लीटर से कम है। Now अगर मैं इस प्लॉट को बनाऊं कंप्रेसिबिलिटी फैक्टर वर्सेस प्रेशर का, ओके, फॉर एन आइडियल गैस, तो Z इक्वल टू 1 हो गया, ये तो हमने देख लिया क्योंकि V है, ये 1 हो जाएगा, ये दोनों का वॉल्यूम 1 हो जाएगा और इट इज टेम्परेचर और प्रेशर की इंडिपेंडेंट है। बट अगर हम देखें ये ग्राफ, हमने जो अलग अलग गैसेस के लिए प्लॉट किया Z की वैल्यूज के साथ एक्सपेरिमेंट में, ये ग्राफ में नोटिस करिएगा, ये प्रेशर है, ये Z है, तो जो H2 गैस और He गैस है, इट इज ऑलवेज ग्रेटर देन 1 compressibility factor for it, okay. So it is a very exceptional behavior, okay, of H2 and He, ठीक है। तो अगर H2 और He है तो यहाँ पर क्या होगा कि रिपल्सिव फोर्सेस डोमिनेट करेंगी, ध्यान रखना, रिपल्सिव फोर्सेस, because Z is greater than 1, okay. But when Z is less than 1, attractive forces वर्क करने लगता है, ओके। अब सी होता क्या है कि जब Z लो हो रहा है, वॉल्यूम उनका कम हो रहा है, दे कैन बी easily compressed, compressibility factor, बट जब उन गैसेस में एट्रैक्टिव फोर्सेस बढ़ेंगी, ठीक है, V की वजह से, Z के कम होने की वजह से उनमें, सॉरी, V के कम होने की वजह से Z कम हो रहा है, उसका मतलब है दे आर गेटिंग क्लोजर, दैट मीन्स दैट वॉल्यूम इज एक्चुअली लो rather than the actual 22.4 liter we assumed earlier. That means attractive forces are more, okay, in that container. But when the volume is high, when attractive forces are less, repulsive forces are dominating. Okay, I think you may have understood here. You can observe here that at very low pressure, every gas is close to the Z equal to 1 line. At low pressure here, PV is less than RT except for the H2 and He. For all gases, this is less than 1, Z is less than 1, Z is below this line for all other gases, N2, CH4, CO2. At moderate pressure here, here, or even here, at these moderate pressures between 100, 200, 300, Z is again getting close to the 1. But at very high pressure around here, Z is greater than 1 for every other gas. Okay. Now see, if attractive forces are dominating, okay, that means if we have understood here, in liquid form, intermolecular forces are greater, okay, than gases. As the intermolecular attraction forces increases, the propensity of the gases to convert into liquid increases. ठीक है, अगर गैस इजीली लिक्विफाई हो जाएगी अगर इंटरमोलिकुलर अट्रैक्शन बिटवीन दीज गैसियस पार्टिकल बढ़ेगा, तो उसके लिए हमें क्या चाहिए, Z की वैल्यू लेस। तो Z जैसे जैसे कम होगा लो प्रेशर रीजन में गैस इजीली लिक्विफाई हो जाएगी। तो इसीलिए CO2 जैसे ये गैस जो बहुत लो चली जाती है CO2, ओके, नोटिस हियर CO2 जो बहुत लो जा रही है इट कैन इजीली बी लिक्विफाइड, ओके, बिकॉज Z इज वेरी मच लो, intermolecular attractive forces are dominating here. Okay, see this graph, notice here T1, T2, T3, T4. Okay, T1 is higher, T2 is lower, T3 is or much lower, and T4 is very low. Now if you see, they all start from the origin, but as soon as the temperature is decrease, देखो टेम्परेचर में T1 था, T1 से T2 गया, T2 से T3 गया, T2 से T4 गया एट लो प्रेशर, ये डेविएट करता जा रहा है यहाँ पर। सिमिलरली हायर प्रेशर पे मैं जा रहा हूँ तो T1 से T2, T3 से T4, ठीक है, तो ये आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन से और दूर जा रहा है ये ग्राफ। दैट मीन्स हम जैसे जैसे टेम्परेचर बढ़ाते हैं, ठीक है, सॉरी टेम्परेचर कम करते हैं तो डेविएशन बढ़ता है, और टेम्परेचर अगर हम बढ़ाते हैं तो डेविएशन कम होता है आइडियल बिहेवियर से, ठीक है, ये समझ में आ गया होगा। चलिए ठीक है, अब देखिए वॉल, अच्छा ये डेविएशन हमने पढ़ा लिया, अब हम पढ़ लेते हैं कि हमने जो आइडेंटिफाई किया था कि वॉल्यूम इसका एक्चुअली में एग्जिस्ट होता है रियल गैसेस में, तो हमने उस एस्पेक्ट को करेक्ट करना था आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन में, ठीक है। अब देखिए आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन में जो वॉल्यूम होता है वो आइडियल वॉल्यूम होता है वेयर द मॉलिक्यूल्स कैन मूव फ्रीली। हमने बताया था वो आपस में एक दूसरे से पास कोलाइड नहीं कर रहे हैं, बड़े आराम से मूव कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, बट एक्चुअली में ऐसा होता नहीं है। तो हमें उस एस्पेक्ट को, उस टोटल वॉल्यूम को हमें आइडियल गैस में फिट करना पड़ेगा, आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन में। हम क्या करेंगे यहाँ पर, हम कैलकुलेट करेंगे कि कैसे एक्सक्लूडेड वॉल्यूम, जस्ट ठीक है, there is noise little bit, okay, ये now see, अब जो फ्री वॉल्यूम जो होगा आइडियल गैस का, वो एक्चुअली में लेस होगा। क्यों लेस होगा? क्योंकि हमने पहले तो एक्सक्लूड कर दिया था वॉल्यूम को, बट अभी हम करंट में एक्सक्लूड नहीं कर रहे हैं, उसको अकाउंट कर रहे हैं, उसको कैलकुलेशन में लेके आ रहे हैं उसके वॉल्यूम को। तो हमारे पास जो फ्री वॉल्यूम अवेलेबल होगा, वो रियल वॉल्यूम का एक्चुअल जो इनिशियल वॉल्यूम से कम होगा। ठीक है, तो रियल वॉल्यूम ऑफ गैस विल बी इक्वल टू एक्चुअल वॉल्यूम ऑफ द कंटेनर माइनस वॉल्यूम ऑक्यूपाइड बाय द n मॉलिक्यूल्स इन मोशन। ओके, ठीक है। नाउ सी, I am not going into this derivation here, it is not important for you currently, but see here, रियल वॉल्यूम कितना आ जाएगा इसका, V minus B for 1 mole of the gas. Okay, we are assuming here this is the constant for the gas. Similarly, for n mole of gas, it comes down to the V minus NB. ठीक है, जो ये B होता है, it is called the excluded volume or co-volume. Okay, this is called excluded volume. Which is that excluded volume? This is excluded volume, this highlighted portion. Okay, now see, how do we calculate this excluded volume? ठीक है, it equals to the 4/3 pi r cube multiplied by 4n. Okay, see here, r equal to radius of gas molecule, n is the Avogadro's number. Okay, again कैसे हमने इसको कैलकुलेट किया, ये जो रेडियस थी ये डबल हो गई इसकी। अगर हम r की जगह पे 2r लेंगे, ये वॉल्यूम एक्सक्लूड हो रहा है यहाँ तक, तो ये 8r क्यूब आ जाएगा और मल्टीप्लाइड बाय n मॉलिक्यूल्स। बट हमने 2 बार काउंट कर लिया इस एक्सक्लूडेड वॉल्यूम को दोनों के कोलिजन से, तो हम इसे 2 से डिवाइड कर देंगे और इट बिकम 4। ओके, 4/3 pi r cube 4n. सी, नाउ प्रेशर करेक्शन देख लेते हैं, प्रेशर करेक्शन फैक्टर कितना आता है। देखो, अब जैसे हमने वहां एज्यूम किया था कि इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्सेस वर्क नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन एक्चुअल में वर्क कर रहे होते हैं। इस कंटेनर में देखो, ए की जो पोजीशन है यहाँ पर ये वाला डायग्राम में, तो ए की जो पोजीशन है वो इनसाइड द कंटेनर है, इस पे चारों तरफ से फोर्स लग रहा है, तो ये प्रेशर सब चारों से बैलेंस्ड आउट हो गया इसका। बट जो सरफेस पे मॉलिक्यूल्स प्रेजेंट है उनमें एक ही डायरेक्शन में प्रेशर क्रिएट हो रहा है, एक ही डायरेक्शन में फोर्सेस लग रही है, अपर साइड लग नहीं रही, बैलेंस्ड आउट नहीं है। तो ये जो पार्टिकल जो कंटेनर से कोलाइड करके जो प्रेशर क्रिएट करता था, वो अब प्रेशर कैसा होगा, हाँ, वो पहले से रेड्यूस हो जाएगा। ठीक है, अगर ये प्रेशर पहले से अगर रेड्यूस हो गया, ठीक है, तो कितना आएगा ये, इसकी कैलकुलेशन वंडर वॉल्स ने की थी, उसने आइडेंटिफाई किया था कि ये नेबरिंग मॉलिक्यूल से n/v के बराबर होगा। ठीक है, बट हमें उसका कंसंट्रेशन निकालना है, तो इसका नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल्स अबाउट टू हिट द मॉलिक्यूल भी n/v के बराबर होंगे। ठीक है, जितने नेबरिंग मॉलिक्यूल में प्रेजेंट है और जितने हिट करने वाले हैं, तो टोटल जो फैक्टर आ जाता है वो आ जाता है n²v²। ठीक है, अगर a हमारा प्रोपोर्शनलिटी कांस्टेंट आता है, तो हमारा जो वॉल्यूम कम हो रहा है एक्चुअल का, आइडियल से, ठीक है, वो आ जाएगा n स्क्वायर a इंटू वी स्क्वायर, ठीक है। तो आइडियल वॉल्यूम कितना आ जाएगा, H1 प्लस n स्क्वायर ए वी स्क्वायर। तो हमने अगर गैस आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन में पीवी इक्वल टू एनआरटी में ये करेक्शन फैक्टर रख दिए, एक्चुअल आइडियल गैस से इक्वल करके, पी एक्चुअल ए बाई बी स्क्वायर वी माइनस वी, दिस इज फॉर 1 मोल, और n मोल के लिए कितना हो जाएगा, p प्लस एन स्क्वायर बाई वी स्क्वायर इंटू ए मल्टीप्लाइड बाई वी माइनस एन वी इक्वल टू एन आर टी, ठीक है। ये समझ में आ गया आपको। तो ये हमारा क्या होता है, वंडर वॉल्स गैस इक्वेशन, ओके। सी दिस वंडर वॉल्स गैस इक्वेशन में जो कांस्टेंट होते हैं ए और बी जो होते हैं, ये कैरेक्टरिस्टिक कांस्टेंट होते हैं, हर गैस का अपना अपना अलग कांस्टेंट होता है, ठीक है। ए कैसे आया था, इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्सेस को अकाउंट किया था, बी कैसे आया था, वॉल्यूम को अकाउंट किया हुआ था हमने, ठीक है। तो ये जो ए ज्यादा होगा हमेशा बी से, ये चीज भी ध्यान रखना। जो हाइयर गैस होगा वो लिक्विफाई इजी हो जाएगी, हाइयर ए होगा, क्यों, हाइयर इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्सेस होंगे, इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्सेस ज्यादा होंगे तो लिक्विफाई इजीली हो जाएगा, ठीक है। तो इसीलिए H2 और He जनरली लिक्विफाई नहीं होते हैं। ये बात समझ में आई, क्यों नहीं होते हैं, क्योंकि उनमें इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्सेस उतने हैं ही नहीं, ठीक है। अब यूनिट ऑफ ए और बी हम निकाल लेंगे, इसको यूनिट डायमेंशनल से आप कांस्टेंट से निकाल लेना, आ जाएगा, ठीक है। चलिए एक लास्ट चीज देखते हैं और फिर आज खत्म करते हैं, ठीक है। सी एट लो प्रेशर जो हमने वॉल्यूम करेक्शन 1 मोल ऑफ गैस का लिया है वो नेग्लिजिबल होता है, ठीक है। लो प्रेशर पे ना वो आपके वॉल्यूम को हम, क्योंकि प्रेशर लग नहीं रहा है, फ्री है, तो जो वॉल्यूम का जो उनका मूवमेंट था वो स्थिर है, उसके कंपैरिजन में वॉल्यूम को हम नेग्लेक्ट कर सकते हैं। ये फैक्टर आ जाएगा P प्लस ए वाई स्क्वायर बाई वी आर टी। इससे अगर हम Z निकालें मोलर वॉल्यूम, ये तो हमारा वो क्लियर निकल के आएगा, तो कितना आ जाएगा ये PVM RT इक्वल टू 1 माइनस, ठीक है, इसके निकाला है हमने, ये ध्यान देना आप, ठीक है, Z की वैल्यू। Similarly, at higher pressure पे pressure correction for 1 mole of gas is negligible, तो A by B 0 हो जाएगा, तो ये कितना आ जाएगा, PVM इक्वल टू RT प्लस PV। इस इक्वेशन को हम ऐसे लिख देंगे तो Z इक्वल टू कितना होता है, PVM by RT इक्वल टू 1 प्लस PV by RT। आई थिंक ये आपको समझ में आ गया होगा। ये रिलेशंस दोनों ध्यान रखना, क्वेश्चंस बहुत रेगुलरली आए हुए हैं लो प्रेशर और हायर प्रेशर पे, हम आपका Z कितना होगा उस पर, तो ये दोनों इक्वेशन, ये और ये, ठीक है। आई थिंक आज के लिए इतना ही करते हैं, फिर नेक्स्ट क्लास में हम 2-3 क्रिटिकल फैक्टर वगैरह ये सारी चीजें देखेंगे, और बॉयल्स टेम्परेचर वगैरह क्या होता है, ठीक है, कैसे काम करते हैं, फिर उसके बाद हम प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करेंगे, ओके। बाय।
You are currently the only person in this conference.